Sometimes the most difficult decision a photographer has to make is which image is their favorite from a group of photos. I suppose the difficulty lies not so much in finding an image you like as in deciding which images to reject. Lightroom can help you with the process of making that decision through the survey view. In this lesson, we'll see how the survey view works in order to gain a better understanding of why you will likely want to put it to use in your workflow on a somewhat regular basis. In this case, I've already created a quick collection that contains some of my favorite images in Prague interpreted with various creative effects. To get started with survey view, I need to select all of these images. So I'll click on the first image in the group and then hold the Shift key and click on the last image in the group. I could have also chosen Edit, Select All from the menu in order to select all of the current images on the film strip. Next, I'll choose the Survey View. This is the fourth button on the toolbar below the preview image. You can also press the letter N to access the Survey View. When I choose Survey View, I'll see all of the selected images in a single space. Obviously, the idea is that we can compare all of these images as we start to decide on which one will remain our favorite. Of course, in this case, I have 8 images selected in a relatively small space, and so I can't get a very close look at any of them. To help make the process easier, I'm going to hide the other interface elements. For example, I can press Shift-Tab to hide all of the panels in Lightroom. I can also enter full screen mode to hide the title bar and the menu bar by pressing the letter F key twice. Now the only additional interface element is the toolbar below the images. It is possible to navigate among the images by clicking the arrows left and right. As you do so, the image that is currently selected will change. This is useful by virtue of the fact that when we exit survey mode, whichever image is selected here will be the actually selected image in Lightroom. I could therefore short-circuit the process here by simply exiting survey mode if I've already made a decision about which image is my favorite. But there's also another element to survey view which I find very helpful for deciding which image you want to choose among a collection of images. To take this a step further, I'm actually going to hide the toolbar by pressing the letter T. I'll also switch to the Lights Out display by pressing the letter L twice, once to go into the dim view and a second time to go into the full Lights Out display. Now I can only see my images set against a black background, which in my mind makes it much easier to evaluate the images. At this point, I can review the images and decide which ones I feel are not quite as good as the others. For example, I might decide that this image, while interesting, is really just coming across as a relatively straightforward color image, and so I'm not going to include that as a possibility. When I click the X at the bottom right corner of the image, it disappears and the layout of the remaining images is updated to reflect the available space. I might decide that this image is also just a relatively straightforward color capture, so I'll close that image. And then I might decide that the night scene is just not that interesting, so I'll get rid of that. As you can see, each time I decide to deselect an image, the other images are resizing when appropriate and adjusting their layout to make the best use of the available space. I'll continue to deselect images that I decide are not quite up to snuff as I slowly work my way toward a single image. At this point, I'm down to 2 images, and as much as I love the perspective of the image on the right and the drama of the colorful umbrella, I think I'm leaning towards the image on the left more. So I'll close the image on the right and be left with a single image. At this point, I've isolated a single image through the survey view. Now I can just get back to my normal Lightroom interface by pressing F to exit full screen mode, pressing T to bring back my toolbar, and pressing Shift-Tab to bring back the panels. At this point, I've selected that single image and I can continue working with it as needed. As you can see, the survey view operates with a very simple process. In my mind, it is designed as a tool that tries to stay out of your way while making it a little easier for you to make a decision about your images.